Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some kind of bad and kind of daunting news when it comes to the gaming industry as a whole. Now, in case you guys have or been living underneath the rock, the economy has been a little bit more on the rockier side. We've been seeing stocks kind of going down, down, down. Crypto has gone and plummeted, and as well, we're also seeing a lot more layoffs and other various jobs kind of moving on and cutting spending, cutting marketing, and all of that. But one big thing is also the gaming industry, because as everyone was home and locked up here in the pandemic these past few years, gaming has been absolutely skyrocketing. But now we're actually seeing a lot more of these downfalls of a more poor, consumer-based economy spending and all these concerns going out where, well, people are getting a little bit more concerned about spending money, maybe not buying games as much, and now some of these kind of mediocre game companies are now definitely feeling the hit. So we have some really big news when it comes to companies such as Ubisoft, Frontier, and a lot of other ones too that are just kind of not doing so hot at the end of the day, and it kind of almost goes and signifies that the gaming industry might be getting a little bit more hurt than we might expect. So we're going to talk about this and bring up a lot of big pressing issues that came out as of today, and as well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys go check out the brand new Samsung reservation page down below and save $100. We have basically no lock-in. If you guys just do your nice little sign up over here for reservation, get a bunch of money for free. You don't have to even commit to it if you guys don't want to, but this link down below. And as well, make sure you guys follow the Twitter, Twitch stream, Target, Amazon links down below, and subscribe with the notifications on. And let's go talk about some depressing news here in the gaming industry. So as I mentioned, we've been seeing a lot more of an economic downfall these past probably about year or so. Stocks, crypto, everything going down. And it also means that there's going to be less money for consumers to go and start spending when it comes to just things. Gaming is definitely a nice little added cherry on top, and I think a lot of people are going to be buying games almost no matter what, because you want to be entertained, you want to go and spend $60 for a game that will give you a month of entertainment. That's really not that bad of a deal at the end of the day. But now we have two major big things, and number one is the fact that Ubisoft themselves is now canceling multiple different games, and they also had a lot of issues when it comes to acquisitions, and as well as also partnerships to floating around. Now we saw this initial post over here from Steven Totilio saying, Ubisoft is facing surprisingly slower sales, has now canceled 3 unannounced games, on top of the 4 canceled in July, planning $200 million in cost reductions, including natural attrition and divesting of non-core assets, with games such as Skull and Bones being delayed again. Ubisoft mentions upcoming beta phase 2 as well is not going to be released as of maybe 2023, 2024. Ubisoft says it has one more large unannounced game, at least for the fiscal year, and as well, the Ubisoft reps are telling me that basically development from studios and canceled games will be thankfully being shifted to other games, so they're not losing their jobs, but it's just not a good sign because, well, who knows how long it's going to last. So very first and foremost, video game giant Ubisoft announced today with projected cuts in lowering its estimated operating income for the current year by $1 billion. $1 billion is kind of a lot of money for a company like Ubisoft. So why does this matter? The company blamed the macroeconomic conditions, suggesting that game companies might be struggling similarly. Now it's also going to go to just general consumer spending, where you can maybe have a thing like a Game Pass, maybe a PS Plus, or these brand new AAA games, and they might still sell very well. People like games. I will buy games. But some people might be like, well, is it really worth it for me to go buy this brand new AAA game that's kind of maybe mediocre reviews, or Ubisoft has kind of had some mediocre track record, so we maybe wait for it to go on sale, just maybe get on U Plus instead. And now a lot more people are kind of concerned on how they're spending their money and what they're spending their money on. So basically saying the cuts are part of a larger decline for Ubisoft that suggests continued dysfunction at the previously hot publisher of Assassin's Creed and other various popular games. So Ubisoft managers said that they were canceling these 3 unannounced games we mentioned, in addition to other prior unannounced games that are also gotten canceled. They also go and say that the gaming company, this kind of gaming as a whole seems like it might be entering a slog mode, that net bookings, which encompass game sales, downloadable content purchases, and other transactions, are expected to decline 10% for the year, rather than show 10% growth as previously forecasted, and we saw a lot in 2021 and 2020. Ubisoft is looking for nearly $200 million to go and save money over probably maybe doing layoffs, cutting off actual game production, focusing on bigger games, and everything in between. So they basically targeted reconstruction, divesting some non-core assets, and usual natural attrition, according to a company press release. Ubisoft rep tells Axios that workers on the canceled games will shift to other projects. They also delayed one of their bigger games basically in March from Skull and Bones to early next year. They also did go and say Guillemot and CFO Frederick de Groot said that inflation was also giving some gamers some pause. So almost my question to you, has that been a big issue for you guys in terms of spending? As well as also they said that a lot of these games for the 2022 holiday season, namely Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope, were basically They marketed well, they did kind of okay, but there's still some issues with people like reluctant to spend money. They said that reluctancy by consumers to spend was most evident in the casual and mobile sectors of their business, which makes sense. I really do think mobile spending is very, very basic, and as well, it's just it's nice. It's nice to have these things like a Candy Crush or Pug Mobile on your phone, but do you really want to spend $10 when you're worried about your job? No, like you kind of save that for when the economy's going good, you're vibing good, and feeling good too as well. And they also haven't had a brand new Assassin's Creed game in quite some time, since 2020, so there's been like a really big gap, and they're kind of maybe feeling the heat on them not selling one of their number one biggest games. Kind of think like Call of Duty. If you don't sell Call of Duty for a year, you're probably gonna make a little bit less money over time. So it kind of goes to show these game industries and even these big frontline companies like Assassin's Creed. Everyone knows Assassin's Creed. They're still being worried, and as well, they have to kind of do this company restructuring, maybe cut down on hires, and everything all in between. It's not fun to go and see, but as well, we're seeing other big game companies too. Not only just Ubisoft, with now Frontier having their stock price absolutely plummet this week, with their prices dropping 40% following disappointing F1 Manager sales. But this company also has a lot of other games you guys may have heard of as well, which we'll get to in a second. But basically, these big game companies that are worth hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, are feeling the heat on the gaming companies. Like these universe, like people are just, yeah, they bought games that maybe these mid-tier games or kind of mediocre games that people maybe would have bought because they were bored at home. As the pandemic kind of lightens up and people are worried about their jobs and stock market concerns and 401ks and everything else, they're just a little bit less, especially with food prices, electricity prices, rent prices going up. They just don't have as much disposable income. Or I'm sure a lot of folks would like to have like the money to go and buy these games on the side, but it just makes things a little bit harder. So basically, the company's latest game underperformed during the key shopping season, and a lot of these other game companies are noting the same, that this 2022 holiday season was not as eventful and nice as they were expecting. Frontier said it no longer expects to meet its prior sales and profit guidance, so a lot of the stock talk coming out for the current fiscal year of this year, due to the underperformance of its most recent release, F1 Manager of 2022, and weaker than expected sales across its whole portfolio during the holiday period. Founded in 1994, the Elite co-creator David Brabham, Frontier is best known for, you guys may have known some of these games, such as Planet Zoo, Jurassic World Evolution, Planet Coaster, a lot of indie games as well, F1 Manager if you guys are into the car games. So they have like pretty well-known games, at least in the indie scene, that I know myself have actually seen. They go and say that the F1 Manager 2022 was the first game in an important new annual franchise for Frontier, and was released in the summer of 2022, and it has sold over 600,000 copies, which is nothing to scoff at, but for their own expectations, it just wasn't as good, and it wasn't as high as they were expecting. They did go and even say even for this for the general gaming as a whole, and it shows that the gaming universe is scary. Like, people are afraid to buy, people are afraid to invest, people are not buying as many indie games and kind of frivolous spending as they've had a chance to go and see. Like, if they also probably want a deal, and sometimes these games are also just for, like in this case of Frontier, sometimes these games are just old and people who wanted to buy them probably already bought them. Like, I'm sure they're still getting sales and all that, but for some of their game lists, such as, say, Elite Dangerous, cool game, but old. Planet Coaster, cool game, but old. Jurassic World, cool game, but old. Same with the other one. Planet Zoo, cool game, but old. So you kind of have to like make updates or DLCs or update the game and have better like next versions and iterations of it, or else it's just going to end up getting old as time goes on. Kind of the same thing with Ubisoft. It's like you need a good, proper, good game that people want to play. Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy, that's a good game, but it's old. Assassin's Creed's been over 2 years now, going close to 3. It's old. Like, you need to make something new. And as well, if you make something new, it has to be something that's different enough that makes people want to spend money and buy it. So it kind of seems like we're almost like on the purge over here of just mediocre game companies. Like, these are not, like, these are games I have played. I recognize them. Or maybe you guys have heard of them. Or same with like Assassin's Creed and other Ubisoft games. You have heard of them. You know they exist. But the one big struggle is that they need to make something that makes you want to buy it for the 8th time, rather than, how it was maybe 10 years ago, or even during the pandemic, where people are like, well, I'm just bored, let me go and spend some money on this. They're saying that unfortunately, sales performance during key holiday season price promotions fell materially below original expectations, potentially due to the part to increased player price sensitivity related to worsening economic conditions. So they are blaming the economy, and I'd be in the same boat. Economy is going mediocre. People are worried about losing their jobs or already have been laid off. And as well, we lost a lot of this like pandemic hype where we had all this money flowing and like stimulus checks and stock market booming. And now people are trying to have to go and cut back on their costs, especially due to inflation. So I want to hear all your thoughts and comments down below, because it does kind of seem like the gaming industry is getting a little bit more scary at the end of the day. As well, a reminder, go check out the Samsung reservation links that are linked down below. And as well, make sure you guys follow the Twitter, Twitch stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give me your thoughts down below. Check out the Amazon links for all the signups and the Target links too. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.